Welcome back, everybody. Today, we are going to move on to a different type of body paragraph. We're going to talk today about the counterclaim. But before we get to that, let's do a quick review of what we've learned so far. Our introduction paragraph is going to start with that A-N-T, and that A-N-T stands for attention getter, hook your reader. The next letter, N, stands for necessary information. So what background does your reader need to have in order to understand your argument? And that all-important T is our thesis statement. It's going to tell us exactly where our paper is going, and it's going to provide that roadmap for our argument. Then we're going to move on to our first body paragraph. And our first body paragraph is going to start off with a topic and a transition. So we're going to transition to that new idea, and then you're going to move into your quote portion. So you're going to introduce your quote first. That's your I. So we're going to give context. Where are we getting this information from? Provide that for your reader. Then you're going to drop your quote in there. So what evidence did you find to support what you're saying? Last thing you're going to do is analyze your quote. Remember, analyze means break down. So we're going to talk about how this little quote relates back to the big overall claim that you're trying to prove. That's your normal body paragraph formula. You should, at this point, now that you're at your counterclaim, have two body paragraphs. So you should have body paragraph 1, which is going to relate back to that first reason in your thesis statement. And you should have body paragraph 2, and that's going to relate to reason number 2 in your thesis statement. And now we're going to move on to the counterclaim. Your counterclaim paragraph is the paragraph you should be excited to write, because this is where you get to look at somebody else's argument, somebody who thinks the opposite of you, and you get to just slice and dice and cut apart their claim. This is where you get to say, I'm right and you're wrong, and here's why. This is every teenager's favorite thing to do. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to follow that same TICA process. Topic and transition, introduce quote, quote, and analyze. We're going to do those same 4 things, but we're going to do them a little bit differently. So let's look at how this is going to be different. Like I said, we're going to have that topic sentence, and we're going to have a transition. We're moving on to a new thought here, but we also have to have a rebuttal. A rebuttal is that slice and dice. It's that chop. It's that why this person is wrong. So think about some different ways that you can do this. You want to, 1, obviously identify the counterclaim. And you can do that by saying, some may argue. And then you're going to put that counterclaim in there. What are those people arguing? Then you're going to use a word like however. When you use that word however, that's transitioning and showing that that's what some people think, but this is what I think. So however is your transition to that rebuttal. And down here at the bottom, we've got an example. Some may argue that wildfire containment workers, think back to our previous video there, some may argue that wildfire containment workers make enough money already. However, most of the people who argue that do not put their lives on the line every time they go to work. So what you have here is a counterclaim. Remember, my claim for this argument is that wildfire containment workers should make more money. But these other people, they would argue the opposite. So they're saying that wildfire containment workers make enough money already. So now I have to say why that's not true. I have to say why they are wrong. And they're wrong because these people, do not put their lives on the line when they go to work, and wildfire containment workers do. So that's my rebuttal to their counterclaim. Now, this part's exactly the same. We're going to introduce our quote. We have to supply information that lets people know where we're getting our evidence from. So again, if you're using a story, say what story it's from. Give us some context, what's happening in the story at that time. If someone is speaking, tell us who it is. If you're using a news article or something that's nonfiction, you're probably not going to have a character or a person speaking. So tell us where this information is coming from, the New York Times, the Cleveland Plains Dealer, whatever it is. Give us that news report or that news publication and give us the title of the article. That way we know where that information is coming from. Then again, you're going to drop your quote. And your quote, again, it could be something that a character is saying, or it could just be a piece of evidence pulled directly from the text. But it's got to support your claim, and it's got to say why the counterclaim is wrong. This is where you get to prove them wrong. So find a piece of evidence that supports what you say or that counteracts what they say. And last but not least, again, we're going to analyze the quote. We're going to do that in a couple sentences. Why is this important, and why does it relate to your argument? Again, tie this back to your argument, tie it back to your claim and your topic sentence, and really make sure it's nice and strong, and it shows why you are right and why the counterclaim is wrong. That is our number one goal with this paragraph, to prove why you are right and that other person is wrong. Again, as teenagers, I feel like you guys are pretty skilled with this, so make sure you take advantage of that brain of yours and you come up with a strong argument as to why you're right, why that other person is wrong. Next time we meet up, we are going to talk about your conclusion paragraph and what's going to go into that.